But remember, you have to understand. Okay, so as a creator, you have to understand audiences, right?
Uh-huh.
And this is where I think that I think that politicians on the extreme right and the extreme left, right? There's extremes. I mean, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with either one of them, right? But the reason why the extreme right is doing so well right now, and the reason why they will probably continue to do well and back some crazy ass stuff, is because there's more of that in this country right now. The
Yeah.
average American is like that, and they're becoming emboldened. I mean, there was a time where like they were afraid to show their true colors. They were afraid, and they didn't really participate, right? They were afraid of. See, the thing about the progressive side of things is that I mean, like they represent this intelligentsia, a smaller group of people with higher levels of education that think that they're more progressive about how we should be, and so they want to create a world that's better.
But yeah, I hate even giving people it like intelligentsia. I even hate giving them that because a lot of these people come up with stupid stuff
They
and
do,
say stupid things.
they do.
Like you know what? Like yesterday, and like I feel like it was the smartest thing for me to do. But then as I was like yesterday, right? I had to go use the restroom. Like the seat was just very uncomfortable, so I just had to stand up.
Okay,
So I'm on the plane. I get to the front, right,
okay,
and I'm talking to the stewardess, right, and like, oh, I got this hat, right, like the hat. I think I was wearing my little
the
my
red one.
tortilla hat, and the lady was like, "What does your hat say?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a market in Los Angeles that I get my tortillas from." I was like, "I'm a cook," and she's like, "Oh okay, I thought it said Make America Great Again." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And the stewardess next to her was like, "When was America ever great?" And like, I always think that is so stupid when people say that.
Yeah.
And it's like, have you been to these other countries? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait, have you been to a third world country before? I think America kind of fucking great
America's
when you
great
think
now.
about the
I
shit. You know
mean,
what I'm saying? Like, nigga, go somewhere. Like, but it's like I think the smart thing for me right there is not to argue with the stewardess.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it could go there.
Just
Because it's like
nod, just
that's
nod and move on.
but I think that's why like a lot of like I feel like a lot of people who are leaning on the left just like we give you think you're smart just because we don't feel like arguing with you. I think that's what it is. Like the other day, like have you heard of Jasmine Crockett?
No,
You never heard of Jasmine Crockett?
I've not.
Oh my God, Jasmine Crockett is a Democrat, um, a Democratic like senator. I want you to say she's a senator, something like that.
U.S.
And huh?
representative. U.S. representative.
Yeah, she's a U.S. representative, right? She says the most off. She's not known for doing nothing except for her commentary.
Wait, so what
Like,
side of the aisle is she on? You said she's
like she left. She's a Democrat.
so
Like
she so she's like the Democratic Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I don't know who Marjorie Taylor Greene
Oh, you don't know
is.
her? She's basically so she's Marjorie Taylor Greene is the anti AOC. She's
Uh,
she's a gun-toting Republican from down south.
uh,
She's the kind of person who I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene was speaking. This is gonna be wrong, but she was at a podium speaking. I want to say it's on the steps of the Capitol, somewhere like that, and they're talking about rights. And she
yeah.
opened her jacket to show her firearm.
Oh,
So when's the last time you saw a congressman carrying? And they can,
Congresswoman.
it
Yeah,
depends on if they're licensed or not, right? They could potentially carry firearms legally, right?
right.
But even if they do, when's the last time you saw one brandishing it, right? You never
Yeah.
do. Probably the closest you'll ever come was what's her name, the vice presidential candidate from Alaska.
Oh, Sarah Palin.
Yeah, that's like probably as close as you come because she poses with guns. But yeah, I mean that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. She does crazy crap like that.
No,
right?
like Jasmine Crockett, like I think the governor of Texas is like in a wheelchair. She called like the Governor Hot Wheels. Like she said stuff like that. Like I
Okay.
think like she got in front of a black church and was like, they're getting rid of all the Mexicans and we ain't about to go start picking cotton and fruit no more. Like, this like that's how she was talking.
Okay. So she's
Like
ignorant.
and
She
like
sounds
she's
ignorant.
yeah, she uses the black scent where it's like, girl, you not like what like, and you know she's only using it because it got her far,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like no. So like why I brought her up is because they asked Trump about her.
Oh. Okay.
They asked Trump about her, and I thought it was hilarious. They was like, Mr. Trump, Jasmine Crockett, and everybody in the room erupted with laughter. As soon as they said her name, all you heard was laughter. It was crazy hearing it. Everybody started laughing
What
at
was
her.
his response?
Huh?
What was his response?
She, she's not really a smart person. I don't even know why we're even talking about this. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm
But see,
sitting
but see,
there.
see, but there's the problem. See, there's the problem. Okay, so letting. Okay, so the word intelligence. I know you don't like it, but intelligentsia does not necessarily refer to their intelligence level.
Uh,
Okay, see, this is how I take intelligentsia. Most of the people that I believe fall into the category of the intelligentsia,
mm,
they're book smart people.
yeah.
Okay, they're not, and they're book smart because so these are people with high educational backgrounds.
Uh,
They could at the very bare minimum, intelligentsia would. I mean, for me to consider a person in that, usually they're going to have a bachelor degree, master's, a doctorate. There's somebody who's been to a lot of school. Okay,
yeah.
maybe they never even finished, but they've spent 10 years in. Like
Yep.
they went 3 years towards a fine arts degree. Then they changed their mind and went into English lit. Then they had 3 years towards a towards the fine arts, and they went to English lit. Then they changed their mind and went to some they're part way to 7 different bachelors, but they could never finish. That's possible, right? But they're not practical people. The intelligentsia spent way too much time surrounded by theoretical thinkers.
Mm,
So they can talk about economics from economics course point of view, but they've never run a business,
nope.
right? Like, and okay, so I'll bring this one up. So I was watching some old footage of Charlie Kirk and
Mm,
some kid. So this is some college kid who's telling him, was he telling him, what are your Oh, they're basically he's telling Charlie Kirk that he doesn't have the qualifications to talk to them about economics,
right.
right? Because he says, you never even graduated from college. How can you talk to us about economics, right?
Mm,
And Charlie Kirk's response is, I run a multi-million-dollar company that does, like, that spends millions of dollars in outreach. I employ X hundred number of people. We've in terms of fundraising, we've raised this many $1 million. I've created jobs. I mean, he's created jobs. He means he has practical operational business knowledge, and he's
right.
successful at it.
Right.
And then on top of that, because he has to study for these debates, he starts jumping into communist theory, and he knows way more about patterns of communism than any of these other people know. Right?
Yeah.
He's bringing up these communist philosophers, and I knew a lot of them because they are actually the main people, and then these people don't know them, right? Or even
Mm,
economics, and I'm like, whoa! It's like, how do these kids not know this stuff, and why are they debating him about this if they don't know it either?
yeah.
It's like, but those kids are.
They're
If you're
learning.
if you're in school right now, if you are a full-time college student at a regular standard university, like the kind that has dorms, you are part of what would be considered intelligentsia, right?
Oh, I get what you're saying.
So you're surrounded by theoretical thinkers. You're surrounded by people who teach and don't do. Very few professors in a college would actually apply their knowledge in the field, right? A lot of law professors have never practiced, right? I remember my first econ professor I ever had when he walked in, and the first thing he did is he starts talking about economics in relation to the sale of alcohol and marijuana. Because I went to UC Santa Cruz.
Mhm.
Alcohol and marijuana were everywhere on UC Santa Cruz. So he wanted to make it
Yeah.
relatable, right? But this guy was in his early 30s,
Yeah.
right? And he had a master's and a PhD in economics. So you know that if you're in your early 30s and you have a master's and PhD in economics, you've never worked in the field.
Nope.
You spend your entire time in school, right?
Mhm.
That's intelligentsia, right?
I see what you're
So
saying.
that's what I consider. So it doesn't mean they're smart. It just means I don't want to say
Learned.
they're deluded. They're deluded. They're deluded by an environment that doesn't support real life. Like AOC falls into that category not because she spent too much time in school. I don't know what her education background is, period. But what I do know is that her vision for what the world should be like doesn't make practical sense. I mean, how can you live in a world devoid of fossil fuels right now? How can you live in a world without air travel?
No, yeah,
Right? I mean,
a lot of people, like, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people that are in power are just not
yeah, I mean, it's theoretical.
smartest.
I mean, they have theoretical ideas that they think could
Theoretical.
work. I mean, like, and the other one, like Greta Thunberg, the climate change warrior that everybody loves, right? The kid.
Yeah, we wasn't
I mean,
listening.
they're trying to eliminate. How do you really eliminate air travel? I mean, AOC is trying to do it too. How do you eliminate air travel? It's not possible. It's impossible to do that. And on both sides of those extreme left people, the progressive ones, want to live in they want to change the world into what it should be 100 years from now, but they want to do it now.
Right.
They're talking about oh, we can develop technologies, right? No, you can't. It's like it takes time to develop those technologies.
It takes
Just-
time.
Just like, from a social perspective, right? From a social perspective, they want a world like Star Trek where like all colors are as one, plus all these crazy ass aliens. We're not talking about people from other countries. We're talking about people from other planets, right? Where like everyone freely intermingles, money doesn't exist. I mean, that's the Star Wars world, right? The utopia.
Yeah.
Everybody freely intermingles, money doesn't exist. Like William Shatner hooks up with green chicks. That's
Yeah.
the world that
These people want us
they
to live
want,
in.
right?
These are the type of people that let men play women's sports.
Yeah. I mean, like a world where you want a hamburger, a machine produces it instantly. So there's no economy anymore because nothing has to be grown. Nothing has to be manufactured. Everything is just instantly produced. That's the kind of world they think can be. But no, it's like, yeah, like a place where women can play in men's sports and men can play in women's sports. Right. It's bizarre that people can think that maybe someday what they want can happen, but that's a long way off. I mean, they should
I don't
just
believe anything that they want to happen will ever happen.
I mean, they should accept small wins. I mean, they should accept small wins where they get them, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can declare any of the three of us in California can declare that we're female on a driver's license if we wanted to.
Yep.
Right? We could do that. And for them, for the people, that's a small win. That's a great win. That's an incredible win. Right? The bathroom thing, I don't know where that's going, right?
I mean, it because I still remember that when they came up with genderless bathrooms. I couldn't believe I was there when they started voting on that. I literally was there while they was voting on it, and I saw it go into effect where I was like, "Oh wow, I can't believe this happened." Where it went from a man and a woman being on the toilet to where it was a triangle.
Yeah, it was a half. Like the right half was the guy, left half was the
Yeah,
craziness,
now it's
right?
a triangle. It
But-
was just like,
I mean, but we've experienced that before. I mean, like, institutions where there's only one bathroom.
yeah,
Right? You walk in and it's so small you can't have two. There's one, right? Usually in that instance, it's also only one toilet, so the door locks, so it's one person at a time, right? Okay, I can see that. But I went to Santa Cruz, right? UC Santa Cruz, the dorms were completely, truly co-ed. There was only one bathroom on the floor. It was big. And there was like 10 stalls and a bunch of showers, and it was completely co-ed. All dorms in Santa Cruz were completely co-ed. You walk in there and you'll see guys and gals with their towels wrapped around them going to use it, completely co-ed. So you made it a point to be modest in the bathrooms. So everybody made sure to cover up at all times because you don't know who's gonna be in there, right? That's how Santa Cruz was. And this was 1989, right? And it had been that way a long time before. That was one of the things that we were told us when we did campus tours. The first thing they told us about Santa Cruz when I went there to do a tour, that the campus is clothing optional. That's the first thing they told me. The campus is clothing optional. Second thing they told me is that all dorm bathrooms are completely co-ed. Okay, and they told me what that means is that there's like 7 showers in a row, 10 toilets in a row, and anybody can come out of any one of them at any time. Right? Brushing your teeth in the sink, and there'll be a guy next to a girl brushing your teeth in the sink. Now, that's the way it's going to be. So there's no privacy in these things, right? So if you want to be, and remember, it's a clothing optional campus. So there were people who were running that. Remember, clothing optional means that clothing is the option. Okay, so the state of nudity is the natural state in the campus.
People exercise that?
Yes, they would. And here's the funny part. Almost 100%, the people who exercised that were the people that you did not want to see naked. Not a single person you wanted to see naked was naked. Everybody who was naked were the ones who you would just be like, you mean like, that's the way it was. And so in those bathrooms, several times I would run across naked people just walking around, guys and gals walking around, everything just swinging, And it's normal. You can't see me like, hey, how's it going? I remember when I first got there, the room next to me, doors open, cracked open, and his roommate, the guy. So I became friends with the guy living in the room, and his roommate was in there. I remember the door was partially open, and me and the guy, his name is Gonzalo. What was it? We walk in, and the dude's naked. The roommate's naked, like it's no thing.
Clothing is optional.
Clothing's optional. It's crazy, but that's funny. So that's, and when I think back on it, there was no outrage about that scenario at the time, and the reason why is this, okay? Santa Cruz was known for that, and that's the way things were there. If you were going there, you were opting to be in that environment. Everybody, so it's not an elementary school. It is a public school, as in because it's a UC, right? But it's not like your kids suddenly end up there because you live around it.
No, you gonna do stuff Santa Cruz style or go somewhere else.
You're opting to be there, so right? From right off the bat, if you're a woman going to Santa Cruz, that you're going to see some male junk. Okay, some male junk is going to be feasted onto your eyes that you did not ask for, but that naked male is in the right. and the same thing the other way around. You're going to see some female junk that you did not want to see. Okay, for both sides, right? And it's their right to be nude, right? And so like that, and so we all opted in for that. So we all chose that, right? No problems with it. It was, but to kind of just toss that on America as a whole, it's kind of, and there were people who did not attend Santa Cruz because of that.
Sure.
I mean, like you're from Minnesota, you're touring schools. Oh, what a beautiful campus! And then you find out that there could
you gotta share bathrooms.
Share bathrooms, and they're out.
Not for me.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
I think I probably would have been too back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was a private person. I couldn't even. I hate even doing group showers with the football team. It was weird to me.
Well, remember, okay, the showers are not group showers, so the showers are individual private stalls. But
But
so it's not like one gigantic prison shower. No.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking.
It's individual private stalls, right? Just like any other any other
Oh,
college.
okay. So I got my stall, and if you come in my stall, that's kind of the invasion of privacy.
Yes,
But
that's frowned upon. I mean, of course,
okay, yeah, I can deal with that.
yeah, yeah,
And then I walk out. There may be somebody who's naked,
yes.
but it's like,
They're not coming
why
to
are
stall
you
with you.
here?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I get what you're
yeah, yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah,
That makes more sense. Now that is actually I can tolerate that.
yeah. It's I mean it's a funny situation. It's liberating. Yeah. So it wasn't like an open prison shower. The vast majority of people would be covered up coming in and out.
Yeah.
The vast majority. Okay. And like I said, the ones who were not were the ones you just did not want to see. I mean, like, the ones who were naked weren't naked in a the funny part is, and actually was good. Okay. Because the ones who were naked were not naked in a sexual way, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't naked because they wanted to show you their stuff. They were naked out of a philosophy of nature. You know what I mean?
Practicing nudists.
They're practicing nudist, but it was zero sexual thing for these naked people. Honestly.
Yeah. It actually is one of the things where it kind of helps you control yourself a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to be the one out there aroused.
Yes.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to control that.
I remember
Yeah.
there, a funny aside, there was that econ professor I was talking about, the guy who was young, but he had this like open antagonistic relationship with a student. Okay, this dude would come in and he was pretty tall, thin, bearded, right? Real hippie looking kind of a guy, right? But he looked very hippie, but he always wore flannel type stuff. Okay, and he would walk in, always sit in the front, and he had this thing. He had a back and forth with his professor. They had almost like an antagonistic relationship, but it was good natured. They joked, right? And I remember being there, and for a final, that dude walked in naked. He walked in for the final naked, completely nude, right? And he sat down in the front. He sat down in the front row again. He walked in to get a rise out of the professor, and the professor said, "This is crazy. This wouldn't fly today." The professor said he looked up, he saw him, and instead of like being freaked out suddenly, he looked at him and said, "Oh, dude, you dropped your pencil." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, that's not a pencil." Everybody starts cracking up, and the guy left. The guy left the classroom.
Embarrassment.
He got him.
Yeah,
He got him. He burned him.
That's how you handle that. That's how you handle those type of situations.
He burned him. It was awesome.
It's not get out. Nah, it would have been like, you know what? Oh yeah, we're gonna make fun of this. The naked boy has arrived.
It was awesome. But yeah, I mean, but that's funny. So I mean, like, these things are okay in areas where it's accepted. I mean, like, if it's, the thing is, it's okay with the majority, and that's the thing we have to understand, is that we still live in I still think we do live in something of a majority rule, right? That's the way things. I mean,
we're in a minority rule. Where you think the majority rule anything?
No. Remember the majority rule. I mean, like, what it is like, the majority of people who agree with something. That's usually what flies.
I get it.
That's, I mean, like, things that make sense, right? For example, like, the U.S. The great majority of people in the U.S. believe in the second. I mean, like, the U.S. has been created on the right to bear arms, right? And the great majority of people in this country agree with the ability to own firearms, right?
Yeah, we actually should be agreeing even more, because especially with these liberals that are coming, because you want to fight against. Because I just saw somebody say this in an interview, and I never knew that it was the reason why they have it is for you can fight against a tyrannical government.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Oh, now, did you know this? So, in the olden days, up until 18 something, up until late 1800s, okay, they eliminated this, but it was on the books that U.S. males were supposed to own a firearm in the caliber of the military. Okay, remember, it's for the purposes of a militia, right?
Yeah.
So we're able to rise up against tyrannical rule, but we're also supposed to help in the defense of the country.
True.
Every male was supposed to have a firearm that was chambered in the caliber of the current U.S. military. The problem
Yeah.
was this: is that they didn't enforce it because they kept changing. They kept changing issue calibers so frequently.
Oh.
Because firearms were evolving, right? And they kept changing
Yeah.
so rapidly, it would be impossible to keep up with that,
True.
right? And even the U.S. military barely kept up with it, right? So they canceled that late 1800s. So
Yeah, we definitely ain't got no military caliber weapons right now.
in the eight, oh yeah, we do. I mean, like, because okay, so this is what it means, right? So the current caliber of the military sidearm is 9 millimeter. So if we were following the rules that, see, in recent years that could have actually worked, right? We've kept 9 mil as the standard issue for the past, like, since the 90s. So 45 was a standard issue from like World War II onwards until like the 90s. Then they switched to 9 millimeter. So it's been the same way for like 30 years plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the old rules were in place now, all American males who were legally able to own a firearm had to have a 9 millimeter sidearm.
But Armand, it says free, able-bodied white male citizen.
Remember,
Yeah, it definitely wasn't given
that's
slaves.
remember once again 1800s.
Yep.
Okay, it would have changed. It would have changed over time. See, like, remember that rule was created back when there were slaves,
Yep.
right? That would have evolved. So that would have changed to be everybody. Every citizen would have to have. And the thing is this: if you were in a militia, they'd provide a firearm and training, right? If you were a private citizen, not in an organized militia, they actually had a department that provided free firearms training.
They should always do that. The only thing is, I don't know. People are more scared. You know that because the whole conflict that we're having with Venezuela, they started arming all the Venezuelan citizens because they think we're about to invade them.
Well, a lot of countries are like that. The Swiss, because my uncle's Swiss, right? And I visited them when he was still in the army. Every Swiss citizen at 18 needs to enlist. It's compulsory.
Oh, yeah.
Every Swiss citizen needs to serve, and they serve their 4 years, and some of them stay in. A lot of them just do their 4 years and it's done. But after they get out of 4 years of active service, it's either 2 or 4 years, they have to be in the reserve.
Oh.
Okay, up until I think 35 is the last year that you have to be in the active reserve. And I went to visit my relatives in Switzerland during the week that my uncle was called up to active duty, because they all have to come into active duty once a year, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually went with him to the base to do marksmanship training, and they all have all the guys in active reserve have their military weapons at home with them.
You know what? I don't agree with it, because if America did that, like, just think if America made everybody go into active duty just for 4 years. Like, well, not everybody, but at least every male.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Well, Switzerland, okay, think about it. Switzerland's like that. Israel's like that. And so is
Israel definitely like that.
And so is South Korea.
Yeah, but those are all people that are under direct threat.
What's that?
I mean, besides Switzerland, like, Israel's always under direct threat.
South Korea is not.
Korea.
I mean,
yes,
South
they
Korea,
are. They're always in direct threat with North Korea.
Not really. I mean, like, but they've always been that way. I mean,
I will always, like, as South Korea, we always be prepared, because every Kim Un, Kim,
but there's a difference though. See, Israel actively gets into conflicts.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah,
okay, there's a difference. Okay, now the Philippines is different too. The Philippines, we don't have compulsory military service. We don't have that, right? But we are. Okay, in talking to some of my friends in various special forces around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when I owned the bar, I had a lot of our clientele was from that arena, right? They would often say that Philippine special forces was something to be reckoned with, not because they had necessarily the best training. definitely equipment-wise, they were not something to be reckoned with. Training-wise, but they had the most experience because the
Really?
Philippines is in constant combat with itself. We have
It's or knives.
the South. No, the South. The Southern Philippines are are Muslim, and we have Muslim terror.
Oh
Muslim
yeah, you
terror
have
cells
terror
down there.
groups. I forgot about that.
So they're constantly at war. So for the longest time, they were at war with the communists. They had communists hiding in the mountains, so they were at war with them. Then came up the Muslims in the South, right?
Mm.
So we had what's called the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. This is what's funny. So it's actually called, it's been around since the 60s, I think, or the 70s. They were called the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and their acronym is MILF. And they usually go by MILF. MILF, of course, spells MILF,
Yeah.
which means something different to us now. But the Moro Islamic Liberation Front is a terrorist organization in the southern Philippines that spends a lot of time kidnapping people.
Yeah.
If you're in the southern Philippines and you're not foreign, you run the risk of being kidnapped for ransom constantly. And so the Philippine military is constantly down there, in maneuvers, and they're actually in combat. And that's why they say that the Philippine Special Forces are something to be reckoned with, because they have a lot of actual combat experience, way more combat experience than most SEALs will ever have.
True.
Okay, because they're it's 24/7. They're at war, right? Now, a country like the Philippines doesn't have compulsory military service, but South Korea does, Israel does, Switzerland does, a couple other countries have it too, right? But could you imagine if the U.S. had that? Every male had to serve in the and it's always males.
That's what I was saying.
No, Israel is every citizen, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we might have to fight a mouse one day.
Yeah, the Israel's bad. I mean, the Israel ladies, man, yeah, they serve. They really do.
Yeah, I heard some of them walk around with, even if they're not active, they get to run around with AKs.
Yeah, they stay armed.
ARs.
They stay armed. Yeah, yeah. Every 100%.
Wow.
100% of them have to do this. So, but could you imagine if every man? Now, of course, it being America, if this was the case, by now, if every male had to serve, by now the progressive side of things would lobby to have females serve too. It's like, oh, how come only males can serve? I can imagine that, which isn't bad, right?
I'd be like, you want every woman to no.
Could you imagine if every U.S. citizen had to serve for let's say, in most of these places it's 2 years, I think it is. You got to serve 2 years in the military, active military, 2 years, and
I think it'll be less. It'll be less crime.
For sure.
There will be more patriotism.
Way more.
And then I think really racism might decrease.
Potentially. Because you become responsible for each other.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it could be a good thing. Maybe, of course.
The only thing is, like, why I wouldn't agree with it is because the wars that we've been in are questionable. I mean, and we will be in a lot of questionable situations.
Well, think about it. Okay,
like
so
after Iraq, I was like, everything is questionable.
Well, so Israel, I mean, Israel is highly questionable, right? The things
super questionable.
I mean, Israel by its very existence, Israel just
begs
for trouble, right? It's like they established an Israeli state in the middle of people who hate them.
Right.
Right. I mean, Israel didn't exist prior to World War II. I mean, Israel was created by England, pretty much.
Yeah.
After World War II. I mean, they have to resettle these people somewhere. Let's give them land, right? And they had to take it from somebody, right?
And they were like, oh, we're going to take the actual Holy Land. Whereas, like, that wasn't your Holy Land. You lost your mind.
Remember, though, the way things work. I mean, and that's how stuff... See, it would not be a problem today if they stayed with the might makes right principle.
What?
Okay. Do you remember, I believe it's Roosevelt, the first Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, had a saying, speak softly but carry a big stick.
Right.
He had another thing. They described his version of diplomacy. Do you remember the term? Gunboat diplomacy. When the U.S. went into the Caribbean area, I mean, to get stuff done, right? Basically, we rolled in with gunboats. And we told you what we wanted. He's like, hey, could you do this for us? With a flotilla off the coast ready to bombard you, right?
Right.
That's the meaning of speak softly and carry a big stick, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ask them what you want to ask them, but you have this whole entire fleet offshore ready to bomb you into
Got
the
that
freaking
stick
ice.
with me.
See, that's the way. See, the might makes right philosophy is the reason why they were able to create Israel in the first place. They won.
Right.
They won. So winning the war gave them the right to make Israel, because the Middle East was involved too, right? So the losers were the ones who ran these. I mean, like, so basically, if you lost, we can rearrange you however we want to. They
Right.
divided up Germany. A country
Right.
was divided among. So Russia got a chunk of it. The city of Berlin was divided into East and West Berlin, right?
Right.
Put a freaking wall up and put a bunch of landmines in between, right? And
Uh-huh.
people trying to leave the east were getting shot. Okay, the Berlin Wall, remember that thing?
Yeah.
It was able to be done because they won.
They won.
You got to realize Russia was our ally in World War II. So when we took apart Germany to make sure they couldn't reassemble and be a threat again, they got half, we got half. I mean, like, that's how they did things. So Germany had to be deunified because we said so, because we won.
Right.
Right? We bombed the hell out of Japan. They surrendered, and then the U.S. ran it for a while.
Yep.
We
Now
felt
they
so
can't have nothing. They can't have nuclear weapons.
we
Nothing
felt
like
so
that.
bad about bombing them that we paid to rebuild it, though. Okay?
Yeah.
The Philippines is pissed about that because the Philippines got the crap bombed out of it during World War II, like brought down to rubble. But because the U.S. didn't do it, they didn't pay for the repairs.
Oh, by Japan.
Yeah, Japan just bombed the crap out of us, right?
Japan, like I guess, like it's crazy because it was just a small island, but they were terrorizing everybody.
Oh,
Weren't
dude,
they terrorizing?
Japan was a terror. I mean, during World War II, they were like the worst. And this was crazy. So we won. Well, technically, the Philippines won because they're part of the Allied group, right?
Yeah.
But we got nothing. Like the country is bombed down to like the foundation of it. And prior to World War II, we were a protector of the U.S. And so, and this is going to be simplified, but rather than help us rebuild it, they gave us our freedom.
I mean, you want your freedom, or you want me to
Yeah,
give
it's
you
like, hey, it's like, okay,
you want to
you can rule
give you
yourself
some money, you
now.
can become a state.
It's like, hey, you can rule yourself now. Congratulations. I mean, the world would be a different place if we become a state.
It will be a totally
We
different
could have been a
place.
state, really. I mean, if we could have.
I mean, shoot, Japan is a state.
What?
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. I mean, they're not going to say the state of Japan, but after the war, it is pretty much U.S. ran.
Well, no, remember, we were essentially a state before. I mean, the Philippines was to the U.S. what Puerto Rico is to it now.
Oh, like a territory?
Yeah, it's a territory. It was U.S. territory. In fact, I have among my collections, I have Philippine money from the 1914 era. It's U.S. money. It says United States of America on it.
Whose picture was on it?
What's that? No,
there a
there
picture
weren't heads on it. It was eagles,
Okay.
and I got a bunch of it here somewhere. But yeah, we were essentially a U.S. We were a territory back then, like Guam is now. Philippines, Guam. Because remember, the U.S. picked up the Philippines at the same time it picked up Puerto Rico from Spain. It was Spain's, and now it's. See, remember, that's the might makes right era. Winner gets to choose, right? So the U.S. won World War II, and we ran Japan we felt so bad about nuking them that we helped to rebuild them, and we ran it for the longest time. MacArthur ran Japan. He was the Supreme Allied Commander and the governor for a long time. I think the governor, but he ran that show for the longest time. And then the Philippines, they gave us our freedom instead, and because the Philippines was probably the most advanced country at the time. Because remember, when the U.S. ran us, when we go there, you'll see down to the old Manila area, it looks like Washington, D.C. I'm not talking about the slums of Washington. I'm talking about the Capitol building, the Lincoln Memorial. All the buildings look like that because that part of the Philippines was built during the same time that Washington was built like that. Same architects. There's a post office there that looks just like a U.S. post office in Washington, D.C. from 1915. It's crazy how awesome it looks, right? and they ran it. I mean, like it was, and they had their bases there. The U.S. had they had an air base, they had a naval base. It was all the bases were there, right? And when they gave us our freedom to self rule, they made a deal, and they have a long term lease on those bases, which that lease was up in like 1997, and the Philippines chose not to re-up on the base lease, right? So Subic Base, like Subic Naval Base, is a U.S. naval base. It was Clark Airfield, U.S. Air Force Base.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's U.S.'s foothold in Asia, right? That's the Philippines allows them to have a military presence constantly in place in Asia.
Yeah.
Right. They've renegotiated stuff. I think things have changed, but yeah, that's how it was. Right. But I'm getting back to the point of, so in the old days, up until World War II, you won, you do whatever the hell you want. Right. So think about it. The way the map of the world is right now was shaped pretty much prior to World War II. Right. Countries expanded by invading other countries and winning, and now their land is our land. Right. The U.S. expanded because it either conquered stuff or it bought stuff. Right. That's the way it worked back then. If you wanted a country, if you wanted land, you took it. If you weren't strong enough to keep your land, you didn't deserve it in the first place. That's how things were in the old days. Right. So when the Allies win World War II, wow, let's create Israel. And they could do it because they won, right? You lost.
Look at all the problems that they got now.
Yeah, losers. I mean, the losers have no rights. See, but the reason why there's problems now is because we're more civil now, right? A lot of the world. This is going to sound terrible, but a lot of the world's problems is because we became civilized, right? We no longer see the way that things were ruled before. It was an iron-handed rule.
Yep.
Presidents were practically dictators.
Yep.
Right. Kings and queens really ruled. I mean, like, you had a czar in Russia. Like, you had absolute rule. The kings and queens of England were more than just figureheads in the old days.
No. Yep. Exactly. They told people what to do, and everybody was their servants.
Yeah. It was very, very different back in those old days. Now, I mean, think about this. If it was 1945 and Russia wanted to invade Ukraine, they could hit Ukraine with everything they wanted to and take it, right?
And nobody would have said shit.
And nobody could say anything because basically people stayed out of other people's business.
Yep.
That's how it used to be. The wars that happened.
It was like, this whole China Taiwan thing, that should have been already been deaded out.
Yeah. Well, the only reason Taiwan is because they made some friends, right?
Yeah.
But think about it, like, Europe had its fingers in the pies of so many countries all around the world in the old days.
Yeah.
Right? And they could do whatever they want. A European country could treat the local population any way they wanted to in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nowadays you can't even run a legitimate business in a country. Like, this is crazy. You went from a time where you could unilaterally create Israel, take land away from another country and make a country, right? And drop a bunch of people there who nobody wanted, right? We went from a time you could do that and no one could say squat about it, to a time where a businesswoman like, what's her name? Who was Kathy Lee Gifford? Remember Kathy Lee?
Yeah.
Kathy Lee Gifford went through this huge firestorm. Kathy Lee her clothes were in Kmart. If you guys remember what Kmart was.
Yeah.
Her clothes were in Kmart, the Kathy Lee collection. And she got exposed for having child labor in Panama, Guatemala, somewhere down in Central America. Okay. But here's the thing. In the country it was happening in, it was not illegal. That's the age you can work was like 10 or whatever. That's not probably right. But, kids could work in that country. It's legal there.
It's legal.
Right? She has a factory there because it's so cheap to have a factory there, and the
I
labor
mean,
practices are legal, right? So
and
she
like when you really think about it, that actually helps out that country's economy.
exactly. I mean, who are Americans to take away jobs from kids in Guatemala, if that's what it
Right.
is?
I mean, shoot, the more they working at their young age, more money comes into their country
Well,
like because I remember the story of Taiwan, and I think that's very like it's inspirational. They started by doing whatever they could because they just got to this island wasn't shit
hmm
to where now they're doing computer chips
yes.
where like now they got friends. If Taiwan wasn't doing anything, if Taiwan wasn't doing computer chips or wasn't the leading chip manufacturer, China would have been took that and nobody would have cared.
Here's something funny about Taiwan. Okay, so Taiwan is actually populated with what China would consider the intelligentsia of the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chinese Democrats.
Yeah, well, now Taiwan was the people who fled China were
Hmm.
because remember during that time there was a purge of the educated. They did not want college education. I mean, like they thought that what you learned in college was basically like it's like fluffy foo crap. It's like if you're filling your mind with useless philosophy, right? They
Right.
want it. It was a movement of the proletariat. So it was a movement of the working class people. So they saw the overly educated as the oppressors. So these are people who fled with their personal wealth to Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
Here's something that you don't realize about Taiwan. When you go there, okay, when you go to Taiwan, it's in the airport. There's a whole bunch of these dioramas and information about the place.
Yeah.
There were people in Taiwan before the Taiwanese came
Got
there.
there?
Yeah. There was a whole bunch of indigenous people in Taiwan who were basically chased away.
Really?
Yeah, so when you see real Taiwanese people, they're tribal people. So
Mm.
there are still
They
tribal
didn't look
people.
Chinese.
They don't look Chinese. No, there are still tribal people living in more remote areas in Taiwan. So
Oh
there's
wow.
like several different tribes of people. They were the original inhabitant. They are the indigenous people of Taiwan.
And what did they do with them?
What's that?
What did they do with these indigenous?
Right now they involve them in tourism. I mean
Okay.
they have their own unique textiles and everything. They actually remind me a whole lot of like those island people you find in like Hawaii and stuff like that. They're like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. The real Hawaiians.
Yeah, the islanders. Yeah, Taiwan's. Yeah, they look. They. I think. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not an expert at all about them, but they are different from the Polynesian people. They're not Polynesian. They're something else. But
Um,
they're similar. They're similar culturally to Polynesians.
so they're definitely not. So in that case, then the Chinese people can't just be like, "Well, this is our island."
No, I mean, no, they can't. But the funny part is, remember, Taiwan was created out of. So these people fleeing mainland China, they were able to take Taiwan because the local population couldn't stop them. Remember,
Right.
that's back in the world where if you can't keep it, you don't deserve it, right?
Right.
So it's the same. It's the reason why it's the reason why America has Texas now and Mexico doesn't, right?
Oh, right.
We took that, right? Um, it's the
And you're
reason.
never getting it back.
Yeah, it's the reason why we have California and Mexico doesn't.
Yeah,
Right?
and you're never getting it back.
And then the argument is this. I mean, like people who are I've seen this people protesting in California saying that you can't try to kick me out of land that you stole, right?
Man, shut the hell up.
That doesn't work. I mean, like the world is built that way. I mean, like that's just how you think now. You can't steal land anymore. But back then it wasn't stealing. Back then it was conquering, right?
Yeah.
So yes, we can kick you out of land that has been conquered because it's now America, right? So their whole thing is this was Mexico before it was the U.S. and before it was Mexico, it was the land of the natives, and I descended, not me, but from their point of view, I descended from natives through the Spanish and
Man,
Mexican
take your
people. I
ass back to
deserve to be here,
Mexico.
right? That's what they say, but no, that's not the way it works. It's like
Yeah.
the world is shaped by conquest. It's only
Right.
now that we've become civil about things.
Right.
It doesn't change thousands of years of history. You can't give, and that's why going back to previous events and trying to get, I mean, the land, America was taken from the Native Americans. Yeah. That's the way things were back then. And I don't think that they, I mean, they got something for it. I mean, like, but, trying to get paid for it ain't going to happen because that's the way things were. Right. The Philippines didn't get fixed after World War II, and we're dealing with it. Right. We're not doing well. We're dealing with it badly. We're dealing with it with a lot of political corruption. But the Philippines has never asked America for basically to cover the cost of getting, because the Philippines got flattened because the bases were there. I mean, Japan would have entirely ignored the country pretty much. Well, they wouldn't have ignored it. They would have gone there anyway. But if the U.S. bases weren't in the Philippines, Japan would not have done what they did there.
That still amazes me that Japan is so much smaller than all of these other countries, and it was fucking everybody up.
Yeah, they
all Japan had to do was not go west. All they had to do was just stay over here.
Well,
and they probably took over the whole.
And that's the story of the whole Axis power structure. I mean, like, if Japan hadn't messed with America, if Japan had chosen not to mess with America, the entire world would look different now.
It will look totally different.
No, but here's the thing though. So I've read about, I have several books on this, and I've spoken to a lot of people about this. Japan had no choice but to poke the bear.
It had to, yeah.
And the reason why is this. See, America was not involved in the war in terms of militarily, but we were providing like
how we doing right now.
We were providing support, and we were providing blockades.
Right.
So this is Japan's biggest problem. They're an island nation limited to the resources that are there.
Yeah.
They have to import a lot of stuff. They have no access to oil.
No.
Right. They don't have it there. And so because of that, they're going to run out. I mean, like, their entire war machine runs on it. Gasoline and diesel are created from oil. Right. So without oil, their ships don't run. Their planes don't fly.
Yeah. And it's not like you was getting it from China or something like that.
Yep. So America wouldn't supply them, and we were blockading anybody, and so they had to come after us at some point in time.
Oh, okay. So it was more of like, it wasn't like probably if they had to think about it, or say if they found an alternative source.
I mean, what they should have done is they should have negotiated a separate peace with America. I mean, America would have demanded that they stop aggression, and that's the funny part. Think about this, right? Hitler and wartime Germany kept taking country after country after country, right? And everyone was saying, and we were all cool with it for a while, right? It was only when they decided, I mean, if they had stopped after Poland, if they hadn't crossed the aisle to try to, if they hadn't taken France, if they hadn't gone after Britain, it'd be a different story. Right, because they took Austria immediately. They walked in, and Austria didn't even put up a fight. Austria basically, they walked in and said, "Hey, you're ours now," and Austria said, "Yeah." Right.
I think France was like that too, though, right?
To a certain degree. I mean, like, no, they put up resistance. But yeah, France is known for laying down for everybody. But war wasn't declared for the longest time. Right. If they had stopped, I mean, the problem was they just weren't satisfied with how big they got. They wanted everything. It's the problem.
Got greedy.
Right, they got
where
greedy.
It looked like, dang, y'all got kind of big, kind of quick. Y'all could have just kind of sat on that.
If they took, if they'd taken Austria, Belgium, the Nordic countries, and they just stopped there, that's what Germany would look like now. Germany would be like 5 times bigger than it currently is, and it would still be Nazi Germany, right?
Yeah.
If they just didn't mess with England, if they just kept it, they just. If
you think they would have got away with the Holocaust? They wouldn't even talk about the Holocaust.
No, they wouldn't even done the Holocaust.
What do you mean?
They probably wouldn't have done it if if they'd only. Okay, so part of what led to that, part of what made it okay for Germany to do that internally, is they painted the Jewish people as the reason for their problems.
Right.
Right. So I I don't know if they would have done the Holocaust anyway. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, like, it's all speculation at this point, right? But
Yeah.
if they were smart, they would have taken these countries. They would have treated the Jews, at least the Jews within their boundaries, the same way that the Americans treated the Indians, right? Give them reservations. I mean, like, because America took Indian land, right? And they
Yeah.
settled them somewhere that we didn't want. Like, all the reservation land that they were given was at that time land that we were not using currently and we didn't think we needed. So let's put them there, right? Because
Yeah.
because they were in a place that was pretty solid. It's like, oh wow, that's a good spot. We want that spot. So let's take their land here. Let's put them here, right? That's probably what they would have done to the Jewish population. They would have
Mm.
seized all their, because they did. They seized all their stuff, and then they would have put them in like, they would give them like land somewhere in the forest or something.
So I mean, because I just thought they had a hatred for the Jews, so that's why they
Well,
just
no,
instantly
the
went to
hatred
it.
came because they needed to unify the country behind something. They needed
Yeah,
somebody to blame for all their problems, and they
and it was
found
the
that.
Jews.
And yeah, so I mean,
But then where did these gas chambers come from?
oh, just Hitler spiraled over the years. I mean, like, as time went on, he just they they went from segregating them into putting them into labor camps to now
Yeah,
killing them. There were stages. They identified them, they segregated them. You've heard about, they call them the Jewish ghettos.
yeah,
Yeah, they're called ghettos. Yeah, it's in Krakow in Poland. They were called ghettos. So
yeah. Jewish ghettos. I
the
get
areas
that.
of town that the Jews had to live in. Right. So they were all identified. They were all put into a certain place to live, and then they started rounding them up to put into labor. The concentration camps were labor camps initially.
Right.
Right, and then they went with the, what do they call it? The ultimate solution. I forget, whatever.
Yeah, just
But
get rid of them.
it went that way eventually, right? But if they had been smart about things, they would have limited their conquest to what the West would allow them to have. And then they would have just taken the Jewish population and put them, like we did to the Indians, exactly like I said. They'd give them reservations. That's probably what they would have done. And then we'd be in a weird place today, but that's where it would be, right? Because nobody really wanted to go to war with them, right? The only reason why we did is because they just kept pushing. Same thing with Japan; they just kept pushing. So if if Germany had stopped at a certain point in Europe, and Japan had stopped at a certain point in Asia and negotiated a peace, the world would look totally different today.
Right.
Completely different world today. And it makes no sense why these people had to keep pushing for more and more and more. Makes absolutely no sense. It's like we talk about now. I mean, like, I guess, see, that's another scenario. They wanted a completely transformed world overnight. They saw a world where, I mean, like, because it's, the German Reich was more than just political. I mean, like, it was almost religious to them.
I mean, but see, the thing about it is, do you feel like that's the same thing that Russia is doing right now? Because it's
What's
like,
that?
why the hell did you need Ukraine?
I think Ukraine has resources they want.
Well, yeah, yeah, but it's I said that to myself recently. I was like, for real, you gonna kill all these people for minerals?
Yeah, they will. I mean, okay, so here's another thing, right?
God damn,
They will. I mean, think about this, okay? And here's and
evil as hell.
now, when you think about it a little bit deeper, though, think about this. Not just for the minerals. Okay, yes, it's for the minerals, right?
It's for
But
the
but
minerals.
part of what emboldens Russia to do it is, okay, what's the rationale? Okay, it used to be
Used to
Russia.
be their ears.
It used to be theirs, right? And so they're just, so that's the rationale going in. We're just taking back what's ours. That's probably how he thinks of it.
That is how he thinks of it.
Yeah, and that's his
But
justification.
I still don't agree because it was like it hasn't been a part of The Soviet Union was gone a long time
True.
ago.
Yeah. It got
Over 30
fragmented.
years, over 40 years now.
Yeah. I mean, but he's trying to bring back the way things used to mean. He's trying to bring back the might makes right scenario. Right.
I know.
I'm doing it because I
And
can.
he's gonna he's gonna start a whole war over it where nobody needed that shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
he's.
you have like when I think about it, right? Like you got to look at Russia on the map. The biggest country on this earth wanted more shit, wanted more minerals.
Okay, but here's what's crazy about the biggest country on this earth. The biggest country on this earth has some of the most useless land on this earth. So much of Russia is essentially like, geez, so much of Russia is basically barren waste. That's the crazy part about that. I mean, like, it's the reason why it's so big is nobody wants the rest of it. It's the sad part. I mean, America's big, right? America's a big ass country, right? But the land is fruitful. I mean, the land
Very
is
fruitful.
good. You know, the land is. I mean, the climate can be, even in the extreme areas, there's moderate areas in the climate, right? Russia has some of the most severe weather and some of the most severe terrain you'll ever encounter. You know,
Well, how much? Because I think how much of it is unused?
I don't even know. A big chunk of it. I mean, it's inhospitable. A lot of it is just not I mean, and it's a country. It's a country so big without a lot of infrastructure. Okay, and see the reason, and that is, that's the fault of communism. Right? Why does America have so many? I mean, that's the crazy part. Why is America? Why do we have such good road systems? Right? Like, considering our land mass, we're really well connected. We have good road systems.
Very connected.
Yeah, because there's profit in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the government built it, right, to help support commerce.
Yeah. If we couldn't get stuff on the road, how we can't get stuff on the road, it wouldn't be no America.
Yeah, I mean, like, the government invested money to create this infrastructure, but money is generated by the commerce that opens up because of it, right? Russia, communist. The government pays for all of it, but no money gets generated because of it. Think about that. You connect all the cities, but there's no actual stores don't exist. The government provides you all your food, all of your clothing, and the government has to provide it to you, and there's no taxes.
No reason for trade.
Because there's no income to tax.
Well, yeah, that's your fault.
Right? A doctor makes the same salary as a janitor in Russia.
Yeah.
The old Russia, I mean, like the old day Russia, I mean, real communist Russia. Okay, different now. Right? So it's weird if you really think about it, how everything came down. But the world, in a way, of course, being civilized is good, right? I mean, you can't just, if we were truly back in like the might is right era of things, you could just run around and claim people, right? Slavery was everywhere. The whole world was running on slavery. I mean, like way back then, you just walk around and you take whatever you want, right? It's kind of like canine mentality. You pee on it, it's yours.
Yeah.
We'd be walking around, hey, look at Ferrari. Pee on a Ferrari.
Yeah. Or, I mean, shoot, pretty much the way Russia's doing it is like, oh, I'm going to bomb all of it and now it's mine.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
Russia was kind of banking on no one would step up. That's what they were kind of banking on.
Man, this thing been going on 3 years. It ain't about to stop.
It's now we're coming back to that whole ride or die thing. See, like that's the mentality. Russia, I really think that Putin did it, thinking that no one was going to step up for them, right? And somebody did.
He threatened everybody with nuclear. He threatened everybody with nuclear retaliation.
Yeah, but Putin's attitude. Here's the problem, though. See, like I said before, like you do things, and remember, there's that pettiness, and then there's that refusal to back down.
Yeah.
He thought that no one was going to step up. He thought that no one was going to take their side. He thought he'd just roll over them, right, and take it. and the world community was against it. And rather than listening to reason, saying, "Oh, really? This is not what the world will accept," and backing down, he just doubled down on it. Right? He's refusing to back down. Right?
Like, fuck it. Oh, y'all want to fight? Let's fight.
Yeah, that's the attitude, right? That's that pettiness. That's the.
But that's the thing that because for me, right, and it's sad because it's like I'll probably be like one of the few that think this way. I'm like, who the fuck? I understand you the president, but nigga, I didn't want to take over Ukraine. We was doing good. Like, we doing good without Ukraine. Why do we have to go do this? And people are dying because of this. You know what I'm saying? So
Which
it's like
brings up questions. I mean, it brings up questions. I mean, like, could there be, and now we're going conspiracy, could there be a reason they need Ukraine? I mean, are they running out of something that they need to?
I think so. I mean, why did you need these minerals that bad? Because I heard a whole bunch of scenarios why they needed it. Because I think it was something where they were saying like Ukraine was like a strategic part to the original USSR because it made it harder. It made it more harder for you to get all the way to the Moscow. Okay. Now with Ukraine, you can get straight on Moscow. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing to really block it. So I remember that was a key. That was one thing that I heard. But now that you brought it up, it got to be over the minerals. It got to be over because it's like, why would you? Like you dedicated all these resources. People are dying. Like that's the big thing about it. People are dying. That's why I don't agree with it because it's like, how can one man send hundreds of thousands of people to die over like? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the funny thing is this. I mean, this sounds terrible, but at least give some sort of reason, right? Like, okay, so remember
there's no reason. There's no reason to kill people.
Okay, so when we rolled in to take out Saddam Hussein, right?
There was no reason to do that shit.
Well, we made up one, right?
Made up a reason.
See, that's the thing. See, at least Russia could make up something that kind of holds water for a little bit, but they're not even doing that.
They're not even doing that. They're just doing it.
Yeah. So you got to wonder about them. See, the whole idea of them taking it because of its strategic placement to keep them safe makes no sense, right?
It doesn't.
Because in this world,
what are you trying to be safe from?
Yeah, that's the thing. In this world currently, the only aggressive country that would do something like that is them. Right?
Yeah, nobody was thinking about them.
Like nobody in their right mind. And this is the funny thing about about Russia as a whole. It's one of those axioms. You should never enter into a land war in Russia. No one will ever win it. It's such a vast country, and two of the world's most ambitious military leaders have tried this, and they both got their asses beat because of it.
Yeah.
Going after Russia has been the downfall of two of the Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah,
tried to go into Russia and he got his ass. I mean, going across that huge landmass to make it in there, you don't want to do that ever, because and then Hitler did it too.
Yeah, and they both
tried and they got their asses kicked. That's why I mean, just wrong, bad idea, right? No one wants to invade Russia, and as we said earlier, we're living in a civilized world now. No one's going to do it anyway. I mean,
right.
I think at this point, the only two countries that are looking to conquer anything, and I don't take North Korea seriously at all. That's North Korea is a joke. Okay, I don't think. Maybe they're nuclear, right?
I only take him seriously because he has nuclear weapons and he be shooting the shit off.
That's the one thing, right? But I don't think that they don't have the manpower to wage a conventional war. They couldn't invade anybody.
He'll hit somebody with one nuclear weapon and it's over.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's got. Okay, so they're not invading anybody. Okay, because they haven't got the resources to invade anybody. So I think that's why we can just ignore them. They're a Looney Tunes country that can do stupid stuff with their nukes, right? But as far as them taking over another country, it ain't gonna happen. The only two people right now who are actively trying to do three actually. Only three places where this is happening is China, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one. Russia, Ukraine,
Israel and Palestine.
and that one. Yeah, that's
I
it.
mean, there's stuff going on with India and Pakistan.
Okay, yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's true. That's a fourth. Yeah, India, Pakistan,
Yeah.
because they used to be one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, England made them two.
Oh, and then one had became Hindu and another one became Muslim.
I don't know if that. I think they were always divided along religious lines,
Oh,
but
okay.
they were. But prior to English rule, they were all one large country.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, never knew that one.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
like, and then what's crazy is out of the four hotspots in the world right now, two of them are England's fault.
yeah,
See,
definitely.
England when they dropped their empire and they pulled out and said bye, they left a bunch of crap behind.
Yeah,
The India Pakistan thing, that's all England's doing. That's England just and Israel, that's them too.
that's totally England, and they still backing the shit.
That's them too.
And it's funny because it's like it came so far. It's not like they can just pack the shit up and just
Yeah.
go. They got to fight it out.
Yeah, see, I can see why Israel has to fight it out. I mean, like, because they got nowhere else to go. I mean, like, it's
Where else they gonna go?
what else? I mean, like, they're there. What are they gonna do now, right?
That's actually one of the arguments. Because I mean, like I used to have that argument. I used to be on the whole free Palestine tip. Now I've came to a point where it's just like it ain't nothing to argue about.
Yeah,
Them people, you want them to stop and just pack up and leave. That's just not about to happen.
yeah. I mean, the way,
And then like, well,
I mean, the thing about it, it's one of those scenarios where, as you would say, it is what it is. I mean, like,
it is what it is.
you got to find a way. You got to find a way to coexist there. There's,
Ain't no coexisting. They got to get rid of all those people.
yeah. I mean,
They have to actually get rid of Palestine. And you know why? Because I still remember it. Like Hamas was on their ass at one point in time.
Yeah.
Like when I remember they Israel begged them to stop with the rocket attacks. They shouldn't have. They should have just kept going. They should have never stopped that shit. Because look what happened. Every time they stopped, Israel encroached on them a little bit more.
mhm.
If they would have just kept going and never said we was gonna do no peace and just fought the shit out, we wouldn't be looking at this as no genocide. We would look at it as just a war.
War, yeah. But
You
I
know,
mean,
it is what it is.
well, see, yeah, the thing that's problematic there. See now, where that and India Pakistan have parallels is that there's religion involved there.
Super religion.
Okay, with both of them, right?
Yeah.
So there's no rational winning there
Ain't no winning.
because both sides are coming. I mean, what drives both sides is inflexible. Right? That's the problem. Okay, Taiwan and China. That's got nothing to mean. That's just Taiwan. I mean that's just China wanting to eliminate. I mean I don't even know what that is anymore.
I mean, because I've heard several incidents. Like, of course, they feel like it. Like until we just had this conversation, I felt like their claim was a little bit valid. Okay, it used to be a part of their territory, but now you telling me that there's indigenous people that aren't Chinese that were living there, nigga, that's not your territory. But like another reason why I knew that they're trying to get rid of Taiwan just in general is because the ties to America and
Yeah.
like I think it was something like they're like a blockade is easier to happen in China because all the islands that surround them, you have Japan, you have Taiwan, then you have the Philippines, you have all these islands that are US backed that are around you to where if there's a blockade had to come, it's easy to block you in.
Well, actually,
It's easy to stop you from trade.
I think Taiwan. It's really just for me. I think Taiwan is really just a grudge match, right?
You think it's a grudge match?
Well, the thing is this. I mean, like, look at. I mean, China. Okay,
China don't really need the shit.
China's become a world power, right?
Yeah.
They were not before. They become
Never.
one, right? But even from the beginning, China was created out of the China we know today is created out of an ideology set, right? They just want to stamp me like, Taiwan in the beginning, Taiwan represents uh, the previous regime that they want to stamp out, right?
Uh-huh.
And I just think that it's a grudge match over decades. I mean, does China really need that land? No. I mean, like, what resources does it really have? I don't think anything.
They don't
Really.
have no type of resources. They just manufacture these chips. That's it.
That they could manufacture anywhere, right?
They can manufacture. Like, I look at it as like, if it's that fucking serious, instead of going to war, just move Taiwan over here to America. I don't give a fuck. Give them fucking, give them Utah or something.
Well,
give them Wyoming.
Taiwan is kind of like China's Israel, right?
Right.
Think about it. I mean, like, they just a country that suddenly sprung up, and that the people,
Taiwan is Taiwan. Ain't no China.
Yeah, the people who created the Taiwan Republic of China, they the island and it's called Formosa before. The island of Formosa was there, right? And it was Chinese territory. It was, okay, so it was part of China before, right?
Right.
But it wasn't occupied, right? It was nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
They went.
And
they
so
occupied.
they
They
fled.
turned it into something.
They fled to some backwater, right? And if they had fled to somewhere that China didn't own,
We wouldn't
there'd be
even
no
have
problem, right? If they had fled to Guam, it wouldn't be a problem, right?
But now what China wants to do, they want to take over because they seen them actually create something out this shit.
Well, but they've been trying to take them forever. I mean, they've been trying to take Taiwan back since the beginning.
Even before it was Taiwan.
No. Ever since the people moved there, they declared themselves Taiwan. Remember, Taiwan is not recognized by a lot of countries.
Really?
Yeah. There's no Taiwanese embassy in the U.S. Trump visiting was a huge deal. It was because basically it's like America. See, America's never diplomatically recognized Taiwan. Many countries,
but guess what?
Many countries haven't.
Taiwan.
Yeah, many countries haven't recognized them as a country, right? We have no official diplomatic ties to them. We don't have any. We don't deal with them. I mean, as a country, we don't deal with them. Business wise, we do, right?
Yeah.
Private industry, we deal with them, but we don't have any.
And why can't China just deal with them?
What's that?
And why can't China just deal with them?
Oh, China is just like. See, America doesn't say that they don't exist, but we don't acknowledge their existence either, right? So we don't. America has never acknowledged them as a legitimate country.
Damn.
But we've never said that they're not. Our whole thing is.
But we didn't say that they are.
What's that?
But we didn't say that they are.
Yes. So that's why we don't have what's it called? We don't have diplomatic ties to them. We don't have an ambassador to Taiwan. And we don't recognize an ambassador from Taiwan to America. So if you were to ask, if a reporter was to ask Donald Trump if Taiwan's a legitimate country, he wouldn't be able to say yes, it is. Right? Because it's him recognizing Taiwan as a legitimate country.
That'll start the war.
That's fighting words. That's a war, right? Other countries have that don't matter. Right?
Yeah.
Does
the Philippines and Japan recognize it?
What?
Do like the Philippines and Japan recognize Taiwan?
I don't know. I mean, commercially, everybody recognizes Taiwan. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's an airport there. I mean, like I've flown through
airport there.
I've flown through Taiwan several times. Right. I've had massive layovers there. Right. The only reason why Taiwan is a problem is because China still claims that. I mean, as far as official things go, I guess we acknowledge them as part of China because China feels they're part of China, and we never say that they're not. So it's like one of those don't ask, don't tell scenarios, right? So as a politician in America, you can never say that Taiwan's a country. Even if you believe it, you can't say it because as a representative of the government, you're speaking for the government. You can't say it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, because I get it. I respect Trump because that's something I would think Trump would just be like, "Hey, Taiwan, Taiwan, and
As
like let's fight over it."
as far as I know, he visited Taiwan. I
I know
think.
Nancy Pelosi did. I don't
Did
remember
did he
him.
did he visit Taiwan? Somebody look that up because that was a really bold move. Either he visited Taiwan or Taiwan diplomats visited the U.S. One of the two happened,
Mhm.
and it was crazy. Either he visited or somebody from the government visited officially. Okay. But yeah, which is a major thing. They never acknowledged that it was a country. It was not an official state visit,
Mhm.
but it's a message. It's a pretty strong message, right? That's
I get it. I respect the message, but I don't know.
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's a couple volatile spots. I mean, the U.S. at this point is messing with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and agree. I mean, here's the funny thing, and I always when things are. Oh, Quentin, did you find out?
It says Donald Trump did not visit Taiwan during his presidency. However, two senior cabinet members of his administration did.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, and that was controversial. Okay.
Yeah. I know Nancy Pelosi went, and she was not supposed to do that.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be there. So I mean, like,
Mhm.
okay, so what we're saying, okay, so the U.S. going out there and mean, like, basically, we're stirring we're shaking things up. We're stirring the pot. Okay. Um, I remember being in the Philippines for the revolution. Right. So there's been a few. There's been a few, and one happened while this is gonna sound weird. I enjoy the extreme situations. Like when I was in the Philippines and there was a revolution, things were completely up in the air, right?
Mhm.
An entire government is being ousted for a new one, right? Well, I mean, some people from the old one will be retained, right? But a lot of people are, you know, when revolutions happen, things get shaken up and a lot of opportunities pop up.
Now, that was during the Marcos
No, no, no.
administration.
I was too young for that one.
Then
The
what?
Marcos Revolution, my dad was involved. I mean, my dad had a newspaper during that time. My dad was publishing the first paper here, the first Filipino weekly, I think it was. But and so he was a publisher the uh, backing the opposition, right?
He was
I'm
back in
talk
the ops.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one that ousted Estrada.
Oh,
So he's a
he
friend of
was
my
back in the
father.
winners pretty much.
Yeah, so yeah, see, no, but no, that's the thing. So you guys know that they are friends. My father and former President Estrada are friends, right?
Uh,
And so Estrada overstepped his bounds. He took too much too fast. The Philippines is a country of corruption. Things happen. It's normal. But there's an acceptable level. You know, you just can't take too. It's like you can't do things so blatantly that people realize. I mean, like, you just can't have it in their face, right?
mhm.
And he went a bit too far. He took things too fast, too much, too fast.
I think that's
And
the theme of everything we talked about today.
it is.
When these people take too much, that's when people are like, you know what? Fuck it.
And prior to that, my dad had fallen out of favor, and he was regulated to the advisor to the vice president. So he was no longer working with the president as an advisor. He was an advisor to the vice president, right? Because my
Hmm.
dad was talking about, hey, this is too much, too fast. You got to watch yourself. It's like this is not good, and he didn't want to hear that,
You want to
right?
hear that shit?
So he was demoted. And also the other people around him whispering in Estrada's ear. And my dad gets so when I arrived in the Philippines, my father was the advisor to the vice president, right? And so one of the first places I went when I got there was vice president's office. And so, but no, but it was kind of a pun. I mean, like, he was not. See, the vice president of the Philippines doesn't do very much. It's like it's almost like just for show, in a way,
Hmm.
right? So we get there, and so he's been relegated to that. And while I'm there living in the country, okay, the people get fed up with what's going on with Estrada being an overachiever in that area, and they run a revolution. So revolution pops up, and there's people in the streets, people marching with banners, all that crap, right? So I'm actually there. I remember being on the overpasses, checking out. I just want to look at this. I mean, I've never been in a country during a revolution.
Now, was it chaos or was it violence or
It was
what?
chaos. It was complete chaos. No violence.
Okay.
No real violence. Complete chaos, right? And in that time, so many business opportunities, because a whole group is getting ousted and new groups coming in. You're forging new alliances. You're making new deals. You can make money. You can get business done. There's opportunities. As long as you're out there actively meeting people, making things happen, right? Things that would never happen in a stable country, in a stable
Start
world.
happening in an unstable country.
Yeah. In a stable world, in a stable country, opportunities don't come like this, right? Now, what I do like, and Trump is throwing a monkey wrench into everything. He's messing with every other country. I mean, like the tariff stuff is wild, right?
Yeah, because we pay the tariffs. They
I
don't
know we're
pay
paying. The tariffs are wild. I mean, like it hurts everybody essentially, right? These military strikes on drug traffickers are pretty wild too.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole country is now
mass
thinking that we're going to invade them.
deportations, right?
Nope.
I mean, this is all crazy fringe type stuff. I mean,
The only thing with the deportations, I agree with that one though, because I think that I know I might sound conspiracy. It might sound like a conspiracy theory, but I think that most of those immigrants that came in, because remember they were bringing in them by the bus loads, by the plane loads. I think these people were traffickers. I think because remember we had the fentanyl boom during that time.
Trafficker, and I mean, like the thing is, well, they didn't follow the rule. I mean, like there's immigration rules.
No, but I think
reasons.
that there was somebody in the government because they were just letting them in.
Yeah,
and I always like, why?
Well, I mean, okay, so
there wasn't no war that was going on in these countries.
Well, remember, we're coming back to the progressive versus conservative side of things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm using progressive instead of liberal just because I want to use progressive, but it's once again, they're trying to make a world that they want happen overnight.
So immigrated a whole bunch of people.
Remember, a world with no borders doesn't make any sense to me, but it makes sense.
That's why you feel like they immigrated all these people last year.
Well, I mean,
that was just last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a world without borders. I mean, like basically they tried to deregulate border control. I mean, like there's a process to get in here, right? There's a process to get in here. And a lot of people on the progressive side of things believes that anybody, and I don't believe in this at all, but they believe that people should be able to move around the world freely. I mean, there's rules put in place to limit that. Every country does that. There's very few countries that don't have immigration policies. I mean, I don't think there are any that don't have immigration policies.
Everybody got an immigration policy.
Even Mexico has immigration policies.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. But the Philippines has one too. I mean, like, as an American citizen, you guys, when we go there, you land there and by merit of being American citizens, you get 30 days automatically.
I mean, right? I think these people who came up with this just hate the fact, and it goes back to what I was talking, my argument that I got away from with the stewardess. People do not want America to be great.
Yeah.
People hate that statement, make America great again.
And why? I mean, like, okay, that's crazy. I mean, like, why shouldn't anybody want their country to be great? See, people feel, and this is what's nuts to me. I mean, like, I think that every country needs to have patriotism.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your country, you should feel a level of patriotic pride. And, the funny thing about America, we have so many immigrants here that, immigrants, you don't have to completely give up who you were and where you came from. You just have to accept that you're here now, and you have to have pride in this country, and you have to
have pride. And if you don't, go back to your country.
Yeah, you have to have pride.
I don't know why that's so hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can still maintain pride and patriotism from where you came from, but you got to have the same thing here, right?
Right.
And so, culturally, we're not saying that you're going to give up your culture, but we're also saying that you have to adapt some American culture. I mean, for God's sakes, at least learn English.
Yeah,
I mean,
invest in your culture, but don't mess with mine.
yeah, I mean, we we shouldn't I mean, America making it so that you never have to learn English is wrong.
Very wrong.
I mean, it's great to have services available in foreign languages for new immigrants, but over time they're expected to learn English.
But also, like, and remember, I work with a lot of Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I'm not really. I'm not. I'm like, cause I got a couple of them where I really, really like that don't speak no English, and I don't care. I still love these people. And at the end of the day, just knowing just a little bit of stuff, I'll fuck with you. I'm not asking you to be fluent. That's how I look at it. If you just got the little bit of the basics, I rock with you. I'm not asking you to. I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to have a full conversation with me in Ebonics. I'm not asking you to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
I'm just asking you if I'm like 10, you know 10. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well, but
I'm just asking you
also
that.
on the flip side of things, right? I mean, if you come here and never learn English, that's also okay, but you shouldn't expect to be able to interact with a wider public. Because I know that there are people who come here, even in other communities. We're not just talking about Spanish-speaking communities.
Yeah.
There are Asian speakers, the Asian language speakers, whether they're Korean or they're Chinese or Filipino. Some of these immigrants never leave the parts of the city that are primarily that. Right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Chinese immigrants. So if you go to the really big dim sum places in Monterey Park, a lot of the servers don't speak a lick of English, not a word. I mean,
Okay.
like,
And you know what? You make that part of that city great.
yeah, I mean, but they never leave it. They are resigned to the fact that they will never leave the borders of this place, and they will never go to the businesses in this place that don't speak Chinese. They're limiting themselves, and they're okay with that, right?
And hey, and you
That's
know
their
what?
life, right? Now they
I'm okay
live in
with it
a
too.
they live in a 20-block radius, right? That's their entire life, okay?
Yeah.
And they can get by that way in that area. But you don't find those people going other places and demanding that we
We
speak
speak their English.
Mandarin to them. They don't do that, right?
No.
And and when they do go to places that they have to be that don't speak their language, they're making every effort to. They don't expect anybody to speak to them in their language. They're trying to make every effort to communicate without their language. They're trying real hard to communicate with English speakers,
True.
right? A lot of times I've seen you get this in the DMV a lot, where people who speak a foreign language basically don't make any effort. They just keep going at it in the language, and the person like is looking at them, and they just I don't understand what you're saying. They just keep on going, and they keep on going, and eventually you have to try to drag someone in who speaks it. Right?
No, you. Oh my God, you ain't met my auntie who work at the
DMV.
DMV. That's not flying with her.
Dude,
I try.
I almost think it's a requirement of the DMV, like that the DMV up here, I think 8 out of 10 of the people speak Spanish, at least 8 out of 10.
Mm-mm.
It's
She
crazy.
would. Do you speak English? That's how she would tell you.
Yeah,
I'm not. I already know what's going on.
yeah.